New York City, summer of 2016. The nation and the world were focused on a historic presidential election. Motivated by its tense and divisive political climate, we asked people all over Manhattan, who are your heroes? Who are the villains of the world?
A hero, let's see if you look at on the more broader stage, anybody that somebody looks up to. Someone that gives you motivation to do something for yourself, to accomplish any sort of goal. For some people, it might be the president. For some people like that, the president may also be the villain too. Depends on who you talk to. My heroes are my parents, and my villain has been myself. Okay. Anything I haven't accomplished in my life, anything that I've had trouble accomplishing, anything that's holding me down, holding me back, is in myself.
I think for me a hero is somebody who is in his free time engaging for some social things in his neighborhood. For example, in Germany we have many refugees at the moment, and there are many people who are doing something for these people, helping them networking or showing them how to use German bus line or to buy a bus ticket or something like that.
A villain will be Hillary Clinton in my world. I come from the Dominican Republic, so we've been having issues with our neighbors, Haiti. So the Clinton Foundation has always been there, sort of like to help them and support, but all the money that they've got from, I don't know, from every investors or from fundraising, actually they haven't done much with it. What they do is sort of like keep it to themselves. Heroes in this city, I would say, I don't know, everybody that say hello.
To me, probably out of all the people that I know are politicians, former President Clinton. Of course, what he's done for the country, and also on a personal level, when I met him, he's one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met.
So what would make a person a hero?
I guess the usual bravery, valor, sacrifice, you know, putting yourself on the line maybe to aid the greater good. And then conversely, a villain might put the greater good on the line for himself. And I think, given the right circumstances, anyone is capable of anything. A guy might, I don't know, pull somebody off a subway track, and you go home and finds out he beats his wife. It's all shades of gray. I don't think it's a designation you get to keep.
What about a villain?
Same thing. I mean, you know, I was born here in 1981. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised, and I can't remember the exact building it was, but one of New York's grand old buildings was in disrepair, and nobody cared to salvage it. And who came along and salvaged it? Mr. Donald Trump.
You're kidding.
And everyone was pretty happy with him then. Like I said, depending on the moment, depending on the situation, you can be both. I don't think you get to do it once and keep it forever, you know, and I think...
Well, that's very interesting.
If you do 6 heroic things and 4 villainous things, are you a hero?
It's easier to focus on the villains of the world. We see American politics all the time in Australia. I think Trump is a very insidious and frightening. And to think that he's got this far must say something about Americans, and it's of huge worry. We're asked were there any villains in Australia, and by comparison, no. The line between the two parties is not huge. You know, they're all okay. I mean, some are better than others. I would always be a Labor voter, and left wing, but really it's just simply not like here. Does it not terrify you? I mean, the racist shit, the sexist nonsense, the appalling stuff about building walls, and you don't need to be inspired, you just need to be afraid. You've got 2 candidates for president, ultimately, haven't you? Don't you see that him being one of them is a very, very unsettling, if not frightening, trend? The Hitler thing is not that silly. It really isn't.
Donald Trump. He's on my bad list now. I used to like him. That was my boy at one time. And he's one of my, you know, motivational type of guys.
Oh boy, he's gonna be.
But then once I start getting to know him, I'm like, come on, Donald. Like, come on, you know, you really suck, man. You know? So yeah, Donald, man. I really wouldn't want him to become president.
Oh my gosh.
I really wouldn't want that to happen. Serious. The music industry, I don't like the way they control it so much. I don't see how they can take people and put people in certain situations to make money when there's a lot of other talent out there. How they, you know, They put people up on a pedestal, you know, like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You know, it's not fair how they just, you know, pick and choose who they want, like to be there. When there's so much other talent out there that can, you know, that can make money just as well and entertain people.
A hero is someone who's going to do what they feel is the right thing no matter what another person feels about it, even if they're going to get the backlash of the public. It's really just about doing the right thing, what you feel is the right thing in your heart. Spider-Man, that guy busts his ass for Queens all the freaking time, and they still think he's a menace, a menace. Batman's another one, always doing good, but they still think he's a demon bad guy. Those are the two prime examples, Peter Parker and Bruce.
Yes,
and,
yes.
We need to know maybe who are some of the heroes and villains that come to mind or maybe touch their life.
And I think everyone involved with a marijuana, some type of marijuana conviction everywhere, whether it's buying or selling, should have their records, just everything, no criminal record, their records wiped off, and they should be released. Obama did a little bit of it that recently. He pardoned not a lot of people, 50, 60, that's insignificant.
A hero. That's hard. I don't know. I'll say Obama. I'm from St. Lucia, the Caribbean, and he passed a law saying, like, if you came here when you were a kid and you get to stay. So I use that as a hero, I guess. Nice. Yeah.
I'm inspired by people like Hillary Clinton, like badass female leaders, just people who like stand up for what they believe in. Like I really admire people who are like leading the way and pushing the envelope in different industries. I think Amy Schumer is really awesome for what the kind of comedy she does. I think is really like everything that she says has a point, and she's like really trying to kind of take down the patriarchy and misogyny and stuff like that. So,
personal heroes, well, my son, homeless person that asks you how your day is. Like, it depends on what I need at that moment. Heterosexual white males that really thrive in their privilege. Hyper-privileged white males tend to be my villains more than anything.
If you could say one thing to them, what would you say?
Well, a part of it, I'm a professor. So, man, that's my guy right there. Well, what I try to do is teach them about the fragility of their privilege. And in teaching someone the fragility of their privilege, because I usually don't talk on a theological level because some people don't believe in God and don't believe in the afterlife. But if you believe the meek shall inherit the earth, and you, the people who have caused people to be meek most often, then therefore something must happen to you. So, or if you're on a liberal level, if you say, you know, you want to help the underprivileged, that means you have to by default be the overprivileged, without saying that though.
If you think about, we live in our comfortable Western world, and then leaders of African nations that just control the whole country and crush all the people below them, and they're not at all well known, and everyone just lets that go on, and so I think they are the real villains in the world. They control so many people's lives. They just want to suck money out of them, and they're corrupt. The heroes are then just the people that fight against that, the freedom fighters who, not necessarily fighters, I'm not suggesting violence, but people like that Burmese lady, Aung San Suu Kyi, I think, who fought against a corrupt military government that had taken over the country and spent all her life giving up her life to make other people's lives better.
Jimmy Carter. You know, after he became president, he didn't just like chill and just do whatever. I know that this guy, he went to Africa and he helped solve the tapeworm epidemic that was going on. Really simple, just filter the watering holes that people have. Then after a course of a few decades, you know, that whole tapeworm epidemic was pretty much like disappeared.
And who might be a political villain in your opinion?
Political villain? The failure to impose term limits on our representatives is something that creates villains. Someone who would oppose the institutionalization of the job would be, I would consider a hero.
You know, we used to be able to define who the guys were who were bad, who were the good guys. It always seemed like they stayed that way. We knew who to fight and who was going to win and who was going to lose, because the good guys won and the bad guys lost. And now it depends where you're standing in the world and what day it is. So it's hard to know.
Right. And you said that was because of the age of Aquarius that we're in?
Aquarius, yeah. That's the age of love and service, and we're all the same. We all carry a shadow. We all carry the light. So some people who look like they're just carrying the shadow are the people we'll still focus on, like the Donald J. Trumps of the world. But he is the last voice of the age of war leaving, and he's here to help us say goodbye. Because if we understand that it's over, we're going to have to look at what it really looks like and decide, do I want to be that or do I want to be something else?
Well, history-wise, definitely Martin Luther King. He's like, that's a hero. You know, he changed our society completely. And Kurt Cobain, I just think he's awesome. Like, his music inspired me to be who I am and not care about what people think. I'm starting to think that maybe Donald Trump is going to win. And I mean, when you really think about it, it probably doesn't make much of a difference, because the people who run this country, you know, it's usually not the president himself. But I just think the way he views things is like very, I don't know, maybe like superficial. And I'm not a superficial person, so I don't agree with anything he says.
Reginald Lewis, why should white men have all the fun? The first black billionaire that I know of in America. Reginald Lewis, right, he bought Nabisco, right, yeah. That changed my life, reading about his economic empowerment.
What are some of your personal villains?
Negative forces, overcoming my lower nature, overcoming myself, my ability to self-destruct, overcoming my personal demons. That's because once I overcome myself, then what's out there I can handle, but it's me. That's my villain, my negative lower nature.
Do you believe that there's evil out in the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I believe that there's evil within. That's part of the human experience, and I believe that we're here to overcome the evil within ourselves and therefore overcome the evil within the world. But if I can't overcome myself and attain to my higher nature, I can't deal with the evil out there unless I become part of that, and that's the struggle.
Wow, judge not lest ye be judged. I'm not going to point the finger at anybody today. Today I'm out here being a representative of the Catholic Church, and we're not about making negative judgments, I'm sorry. There's a hero that I thought of named Dorothy Day, who lived just a few hundred feet from where we are, and she is now a candidate for becoming a saint in the Catholic Church. She took in homeless people and gave them dignity, and that's a big problem in New York. Many people just want to ignore them or just make that problem go away. So she's a model for that. There's Elizabeth Seton. I've picked 3 women, but they're New York heroes. Okay, Elizabeth Seton is a saint, and she lived just a few hundred feet from where we are now in Union Square. And she was known as a foundress of religious orders of women. Those religious orders of women went on to serve in hospitals and schools around the United States and Canada. So, you know, when I think of authentic New York heroes, I think of these 3 New York women.
Mother Teresa, she wasn't a good woman. She had a good advertising campaign. She was all about dying. She was all about dying and suffering as a way of helping people to go closer to God. So she just used to help people die. People in her hospital could have had medical help, and they didn't have medical help. She was a bit of a religious obsessive. Read up about her. It's not all good, you know. And there's a bit of an obsession with her as well. Like, the Pope wants to make her a saint in super quick time just because she's a saleswoman for him. Wow. Don't believe the hype.
I believe my hero is my mother. I love my mother to bits and pieces. She's the best. My father passed away at a young age, you know, and my mom was there to like raise me and like give me the lifestyle that I have, and you know, I'm grateful for that. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I'm so grateful. And the villains in the world, I think chocolate's a villain, you know?
That takes a lot out of you.
Yes, chocolate is the root of all evils. You know, I got really sick when I got really drunk with chocolate once, just overdosed on chocolate. Chocolate drunk. Bad times.
It may sound like cliche or tacky, but Beyonce is definitely a hero. Like, I feel like she's doing a lot for the black community, you know, definitely raising awareness. Anybody could be a hero, you know, a mother, you know, working 3 jobs trying to take care of her children, you feel me? Anybody.
So what are some of your personal villains out in the world?
Definitely Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's doing too much right now. Definitely him, and I don't know. There's a lot of villains out there.
So what do you think will happen if Trump becomes president?
If Trump becomes president, we're gonna have another crisis. We're gonna be no jobs, no nothing. People are gonna be struggling. It's not cool.
He says we're gonna bring jobs, so you don't believe him?
I think he means more towards like his people, you know?
His people meaning
Don't do that.
You can say that. You can say whatever you
I'm
want.
not.
Privileged people?
Yes, you know, the upper class. He's only gonna be doing things for them while we're gonna be suffering. Everything's already gentrified. Look at Harlem, it's different. It wasn't like this 10 years ago. Nobody wanted to live in Harlem 10 years ago, or Brooklyn. But you know, everybody's taking over now. And what they're doing is they're pushing all of us back. Raising rent. It's ridiculous.
So you think there's evil out in the world?
Of course. Of course. There's money in this world. Money is the root of all evil.
We love to hear.
Heroes would be Daisaku Ikeda. He's written, over a dozen peace proposals that he's presented to the UN, and he models peace, culture, and education, and good citizenship.
Interesting. So do you think there is evil in the world?
I think that absolutely there's evil. But, you know, I'm a Buddhist, so we are endowed with both positive and negative, and hopefully we learn how to balance and bring it together so that we can create perfection.
So it's almost as like evil is necessary sometimes.
Absolutely, we learn from evil. We learn from our negativity. We all inhabit negativity, right? It's a matter of learning how to use it, because sometimes evil or negativity can be used for a good purpose. If you take that energy and you put it into a positive stream or a proper direction, then, right, it can be great. So we need the negative to help us really make the effort to do the positive.
So how would you turn the negative, like Trump, if Trump wins, into a positive?
Well, I bet you have more people praying than ever before. Right? And that would be a good thing.